India can and has the opportunity to become manufacturer of EV components or sustainable components, right? How do we build up that supply chain?
Welcome to this edition of Sustainability Karma. I'm your host Rajiv Tikoo. Today we have a very special guest with us, Nagesh A Basavanhalli. He's Vice Chairman, Greaves Cotton. He's widely credited with transforming the 165-year-old single diesel engine maker into a green energy group with focus on electric mobility. Welcome, Mr. Basavanhalli, to this edition of Sustainability Karma.
Thank you, Rajiv. Nice to be here.
Your group has publicly committed to touching 1 billion lives. What does this mean and how do you intend to do this?
Yes, thanks again for having me on the show. One of the things, if you look at it, Greaves is a purpose-led company, right? Our purpose was to empower lives. And this reflects Greaves's dedication to putting consumers at the heart of the integrated auto ecosystem, built to drive sustainable mobility across the entire value chain, right? So when you look at our value chain, we have components or engineering program. Then we have the vehicles, which is a two-wheeler, three-wheeler, which makes up 80+% of India's population. Then you have service, multi-brand service and multi-brand spares, which is in Greaves Retail. Then you have financing of EVs, which is Greaves Finance. So when you look at the entire value chain, so Greaves Cotton now touches every part of that value chain. And we touch through our 20,000+ mechanics, 10,000+ retailers daily, and our vehicles. We have 5+ million engines on the road. We have by offering sustainable solutions with the right value proposition or the right total cost of ownership and uptime to the masses. How do you democratize sustainable mobility and how do you empower people and lives, I think is the overarching.
How are you contributing to the nation's Panchamrit target?
We are investing in innovative technologies, right, that aligns with the Panchamrit initiative. If you look at our focus on fuel agnostic powertrain solutions, right, because we've always said it's an and, because we said it's CNG, biodiesel, plus ethanol, plus electric, right? It's not one. This flexibility obviously enhances the energy security, right? But it also supports renewable energy sources, right? Can we get to about 50% of the energy requirements by 2030, right? Right. When you look at other examples that Greaves Cotton is involved, our Greaves Engineering division works on gensets, and recently they launched the CPCB4 compliant genset, right? That significantly reduces NOx by about 90%, right? Improving and moving towards the emission targets, right? Then the other areas is the clean technology and the multi-fuels, which I touched upon. Then the other area also, as a corporate, we believe in solar power and installed in several of our factories. In fact, they roughly generate about 50 lakh units annually. So obviously contributing to a reduction in the carbon intensity, right? And then the last but not the least, what is very important is we are in the community and we are here because of the customers in the community that we serve. So over 5,000+ trees were planted and water conservation practices were used at our plants. So these are some examples.
Well positioned is India to achieve its target of 30% EV adoption by 2030.
As of 2024, when you look at it, about 5% of sales of the total two-wheelers, right, have turned electric, and over 50%, I think it's closer to 53% in the three-wheeler. Right. So, but to get to the future, obviously, we need to continue to keep doing a few things. The awareness has improved over the last year or two, acceptance of the technology is getting better. The range and the total cost of ownership, at least in the two and three-wheeler, is established. And we also probably need to work on making sure that the sales and the service part continues to improve, right? And while India has made considerable progress, we still have to focus on local manufacturing of components, policy support, consumer awareness, a few infrastructure, right? Some of these areas that probably will still. But I am quite optimistic that we're headed the right way, and we are on. It augurs well for the future.
We're also lagging progress on SDG 11.2, which is on sustainable transportation. So, how do we accelerate progress here?
I think there are several different steps that can be taken, right? One is we've just talked about the sustainable mobility or the electric mobility adoption of the two-wheelers, three-wheelers. And when I mean electric mobility, I also mean sustainable solutions like a CNG also, right? Can be leveraged for commercial vehicles. Adoption of subsidies or incentives where appropriate, right? Then the second point is probably the infrastructure. How do we build the charging infrastructure, the swapping infrastructure? These will help enable both in the public and the private sector. I think that will be the key part. Then how do we collaborate with public transportation solutions? How do we innovate in smart mobility solutions? For example, these days, fleet management solutions or tracking systems, etc., can be leveraged to optimize traffic management and improve the user experience. So sustainability can clearly drive some of these, and we can move towards that. And especially in India, the public transportation systems are already moving. The fleets are moving towards electric, and that can be accelerated both in the two-wheeler, three-wheeler, and the four-wheeler.
Finally, what would be your wish list for the upcoming budget?
Yeah, in anticipation, maybe a few areas. One is, to the point made before, strengthening the green mobility infrastructure, which means the charging network, both in urban and rural. And maybe that can come through public-private partnership. That's point number one. Promoting R&D. I think in order to promote advanced clean technology and next generation solutions, it's very important that we also explore cost-effective and India-centric ways of bringing some of this technology into India, which works for India and for Indian duty cycle. I think that's the second part. Third is manufacturing capability. If India is going to be, India can and has the opportunity to become the manufacturer of EV components or sustainable components, right? How do we build up that supply chain? I think there is area for improvement. Last, but probably most important is how do we upskill and develop people? Whether those are our engineers working in the factories or R&D centers or the service technician who has to deal with it at the customer end, right? How do we foster industry and academia collaborations, right? To bring in more industry-ready people for this new industry. I think these are some points that can probably be looked at.
Thanks a lot, sir. It was wonderful talking to you and getting a sense of the sustainable mobility landscape in the country and how we're moving forward. Thanks a lot for your time.
Thank you.
We hope you like this program. This program is also live streamed on All India Radio. We look forward to your feedback on our WhatsApp number 9818120554. For participation in this program, write to us at sustainability.karma@gmail.com. Looking forward to meet you again at the same time next week with a new episode and a new guest. Till then, goodbye from all of us. Sustainability Karma, a podcast series on sustainable development, sustainability, and ESG.